My greatest fear when I was in a relationship, and especially like one that I really was fond of, got hurt. Like splitting up, it sucked, and we were both really upset. Powerful thing that I've heard other men say when they come, on some level, been searching for interaction, energy, bondness, community, and support outside of the let's go to the pub and have a beer.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another brand new episode. And in today's episode, I was honored to be joined by Kiel Abraham from Mankind Project, an inspiring individual who shared his own personal struggles with his relationships and well-being. So stick around to hear his story of the breakdowns, reconnections, and rediscovery. So, without further ado, let's get to it. And just a quick reminder, we will be covering sensitive topics that may be triggering for you. So if you or someone you know of is in need of support, then please call Lifeline on 13 11 14. That number again is 13 11 14. Hey guys, welcome back again to another brand new episode. Today I'm here in Kawana, back on the Sunshine Coast, and I'm also honored to be here at my guest's residence of their Airbnb. So he's managed to squeeze me in, which I truly appreciate him allowing me this time. But I'll try and quickly make this as quick as I can, as he's here with his lovely family and I don't want to take away too much time. But at the same time, I do appreciate the opportunity for you guys to hear his story. As always, the roundtable symbolizes a safe space where stories are shared, voices heard, and lessons learned. So pull up a seat and join me on the journey, because every story you hear matters. Kiel, welcome to the roundtable.
Nice, nailed it.
Thanks, man. Hey, look, and I appreciate you allowing me this opportunity to host the show at your Airbnb with your family.
Yeah, there's a good purpose in the reason to get together, right, and have a chat about this. So there's no mad rush, no inconvenience. It's good.
Cool. Okay, so before we get into everything, do you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, sure. It's difficult. It's difficult to think about where to start. Yeah, my name's Kiel. Normally down in Brisbane. I guess the reason we connected is that I've been involved with Mankind Project Queensland for the last 3 years, and part of, if we focus on that part of the journey, who I am now has definitely shifted and elevated through that process. There was a lot of self-discovery and growth leading into Mankind Project, which helped me find it because I wanted to keep it going. And through that, there's been a lot of lessons, a lot of learnings, but just this kind of consistent support and community, and environment, like just an environment that for me helps me develop more, grow more, and now it's to the point where I'm still doing that and I'm finding ways to bring that out to other men, to other families, all that sort of stuff, right? So a bit about me. Outside of that, here, as you mentioned, here with the family in the pool. Part of the journey getting into this was to become more present, alive, connected to who the fuck I am, especially for the kids, for my relationship with Haley, for just being alive, right? What else? Playing a band, play guitar. Been playing guitar for since high school. So play some gigs with some buddies, and yeah, it's just sometimes life's a bit full, but finding a balance between everything, getting harmony, and doing my best, which is not perfect, is to be more present, grounded, and in touch with everything that's going on to enjoy it.
Okay, cool. So can you kind of take us back to the beginning of how you began the journey of discovering yourself and so on?
Yeah, of course. We touched on it before. My greatest fear when I was in a relationship, and especially one that I really, was fond of, was that it all go to shit. I fuck it up. I ruin it. After having kids, Haley and I got to a point where we kind of lost ourselves. We were really good partners in the parenting side of things, but like kind of lost our way as a couple. And it got to the point where we sat down, and Haley is fucking amazing at being able to say what's happening for her and what she wants and all sorts of stuff. So when we got together to talk about what's going on, we decided to split and separate, right? And that was tricky because the kids were still young. And I think it happened because I got to a point where I was less needy, less dependent on her, more strong in myself, that she was able to have that safety to bring it up, to go there. The benefit in that is that, that fuck, it hurt. Like splitting up, it sucked, and we were both really upset. But because we fell into becoming so good friends again, that it worked in such a what's the right word? Amicable way. So we just went into being awesome co-parents and still friends and all sorts of stuff, hanging out. Through that, I guess my worst fears came true. We separated. There was no plans of, like, we'll be separated for this long and we'll reassess. It was just, we're kind of done, we'll see what happens. And through that, I saw, you could say a crossroads or two paths, right? One was feel sorry for myself, and I always thought I'd just drink myself silly. There was still alcohol, but in the sense of like, no, I got kids, I can't just self-loathe on myself and drop. So that gave birth to a lot of searching, introspection, like if I, and books I've read before, right? Like if I take responsibility for this, like I've got a part in this relationship and my life. If I take ownership, responsibility, how do I want to progress going forward? So that led me into reading books, watching different YouTube videos, all sorts of stuff, just collecting knowledge, and really helped me on a path of growth and discovery. And through that process, I like to talk, and I think that's how you got my details from some other guys at MKP. For me, there was such a powerful process in catching up with friends and talking to other people and sharing what was going on for me. Through sharing what was going on for me, these guys, well, not just guys, but predominantly guys, would share about themselves. And I think I learned a lesson in terms of, if I let my wall down a bit, they've almost got permission, or they see that it's okay to let their wall down. So like this vulnerability created power for them to be vulnerable. And through that, I was like, fuck, man, I wish you told me. I'd be here. Like, I wish you told me sooner something's going on for you, or things like that. And through that process, there was growth in it for me. Got to a point where, like, Haley and I were still hanging out a lot, and having that separation, we kind of had a chance to find ourselves again. And I really fucking liked the new version of me, and she really liked the new version of me. And she'd had some growth and gone through some things. So it was really sweet in the sense that we could come back together and kind of shape and restate what the relationship looks like for us. And it's really elevated our baseline from where we can work from.
Yeah.
Chatting to a buddy of mine, I said, man, I've really enjoyed this journey, and now there's not necessarily been an outcome, but there's this new milestone of it, right? And I don't want to just stop. Like, this can't be the end of it, just because the relationship's back and all that sort of thing. And my friends opened up, and I want to help more friends and all that sort of stuff. How do I keep the growth going and help other people? And he'd read No One Mr. Nice Guy, which is a really good book. And in that, Dr. Glover talks about having his men's circles and stuff like that. And a buddy of mine had done that with some friends in Bali. And I'm like, oh, men's circle. All right, that sounds interesting. Jumped on Google, and I think Mankind Project Queensland was the first thing I saw. And my intention was to go there and kind of learn what they do, steal it, and go and start a circle for my buddies. First night I was there, I witnessed some really powerful discovery, shift, energy in this community of men, like holding space for each other. People could talk share what's going on for them. No one said shit. It was just like an open space, and then there's different rounds, sections of the night within that I group where there's an opportunity to dive into deep things. But such a powerful thing that I'm like, holy shit, I don't need to steal this. I just need to bring my buddies here. And luckily, I've been able to get a few guys. That's the hardest part, is getting people to come. But I mean, we were talking about this before, like being a role model and just kind of letting what I do come out and influence other people. And then I talk about it. So then if it's ever needed, they've got an avenue to explore it. And where I went to just then in my head was like, I got goosebumps, but I'm really thankful. And it's weird because I don't want to take credit for it, but the benefit in doing that is I've been able to see my brother go through a tougher time. And then, you know, at first he's like, nah, this MKP shit, it's not going to work. It's not enough. It's not going to help. And I'm like, that's fine. Thanks for coming and check it out, right? And just through some of the processes of learning how I wanted to show up, kept checking in with him, kept talking to him here and there, all that sort of stuff. And he got to a point where he's like, can you tell me more about that thing? He came, checked it out, and he went and did the New Warrior training. And he's still a work in progress. I'm still a work in progress. But it's felt so amazing to be a part of that shift and to see him in a different place and on a different path. It's been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And that's a long fucking backstory of...
Yeah.
I can't remember the question.
No,
There you
that's pretty amazing. But not to take away from what you've just shared with us, just to circle back with the connection of your relationship.
Yeah.
For someone out there who's struggling with their relationship, what were some of the key moments for you guys to reconnect? Do you think if you did it again, would you do the separation?
Yeah, so in my situation, if I could go back, I would do that again. It sucked ass, but it was one of the best things we did. That doesn't mean I necessarily advise people to do it. It's going to be dependent on their situation, right? The benefit for me is having that space to reflect and have the pain of potentially needing to assess it, and not just go with the comfort of familiarity to be like, oh, this is how life is. Married with kids, this is it, right? Having that break, and that's where I love Haley's. She's strong and brave, man. Like she won't take shit. So she'll say if she doesn't like something, and it's been really powerful in having that space to assess, to grow, and the coming back together was so much of a sense of, well, all my fears played out, right? A happy family sort of broke. Luckily, the kids were young enough that it wasn't really impactful, and we were so connected on how we wanted to do that it was really good with the kids. The benefit out of it is, like, in a way, hitting rock bottom. It's like, well, shit can't get worse. I can be a shift that happened is I can be more open. I can be more vulnerable, because if I'm vulnerable, if I go straight into that example, right? She can't dump me. She can't reject me. We're not together. So I can be just fully fucking open, right? And there's been so much power. I got goosebumps saying this, right? There's been so much power in leaning more into that vulnerability of kind of like, fuck it, this is who I am, this is what's going on, without and that shifted away from my old way of being, which was very needy, people pleasing, trying to placate, trying to make her happy, trying to make not just her but other people happy. That there's almost an inauthentic side of that where they're not seeing me fully. So in a way, like, they can't reject me, they're not seeing me, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of lessons around vulnerability, courage, more acceptance of myself, and that's something I got from the New Warrior training. And the funny thing is, I found MKP all that after all this. It would have been fucking powerful during or before, I don't know. But yeah, this idea of vulnerability, acceptance, and just being okay with it, and then it's not a surprise that well, I can't speak for all women, but for Hayley, it was super sexy in the sense that, all right, I'm going back to a man, not a boy. I'm going back to someone that can articulate their needs, not put their needs on me, and all that kind of stuff, right? Which is, from some of the discussions we've had, that's been a big shift.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's amazing, man. So yeah, hopefully people can take away from what they need to, and work it out for themselves too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just touch back on what you mentioned earlier on with some of the mates that joined in and joined the classes of signing up with the MKP. Just for those that may not know much about the MKP, can you just kind of share the work they do and what got you involved to sign up and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'll do my best to keep it short. I struggle at times. 30 years ago, no, but seriously, started in the States, I believe in the 90s. Some guys brought it over to Australia in early 2000s, but Mankind Project is ultimately a global community organization, and they focus on men's education and mental health and things like that around kind of awakening, opening up to a new way of being. What I've got out of this Queensland branch, which is set up as a charity as well, is a really strong community. There's a very powerful thing that I've heard other men say when they come and get involved, is like that they've kind of, on some level, been searching for more male interaction, energy, bondness, community, and support outside of the let's go to the pub and have a beer, but on a deeper level of support and love, where someone can at 1 minute fucking hold you and go, man, that's heavy, I got you, to, hey man, are you aware of how you're showing up? Like, feet to the fire, like, is this who you want to be? Like, what do you want to do about it, So MKP has a few different
Programs.
programs, things like that, and the fear in me says I'll say something wrong or get it wrong, but my understanding is we've got the New Warrior Training Adventure, which is kind of the flagship training, and we talk about it being an initiation. It's like a rites of passage, so it's trying to bring there's elements of other cultures, in the sense of, in the Western world, we don't really have a transformation from boy to man, right? It's just like, oh, you're 18 now, go and do whatever you're doing. So there's this, I can't remember where it's from, but there's this idea of a hero's journey, where there's, this change and growth and elements to that. So the New Warrior Training Venture is set up in a way for men to take a deep dive into them and have that kind of, that journey, that transition from boy to man in a way. And it was nothing like I thought it was going to be. Everyone I talked to is like, fuck, that's not what I thought it was going to be. And yeah, it was really powerful.
Was it better than you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I was super excited to go up. And yeah, it was interesting, going through it. It's hard because we it's not sworn to secrecy, but there's certain elements we don't share because it could impact on what you're going to get out of it. But what I got out of it, and there's so many things. The deep one that really got me was as a part of the weekend where I was able to connect with myself on a deeper level and a really powerful level, where I'd always heard the saying, you just got to love yourself. And if someone gives me that advice back in the day, I'd be like, sweet, great advice. How the fuck do I do that? That was the first time. And again, it was just my experience of it, not necessarily intentional. What was being taught's not even the right word, facilitated, opened. But for me, in that moment, what I got was such a connection to myself, where it was the first time where I fully felt like I loved myself and could accept myself, and I was just fine how I am, and there was nothing I had to do. And the power in that is like, I know that I've touched that, so I know that it's there. Wow. Sometimes I forget it, or don't know how to access it, but knowing that it's there and that I've felt that was really huge in what that weekend was for me, you know.
Wow, that's so powerful, man, to hear. What about the other guys that you've seen come through, seeing their transformation throughout their attendance?
Yeah, man. I mean, the good segue to that is that the other main part of MKP is what we call I groups, which stands for integration groups, and this will make sense in a minute. The weekend itself is, you kind of do it as a once-off thing, but then you can go back and staff, and that's a way to help give back and still tap into it and whatnot. The integration groups, or I groups, is a weekly thing that we do, and we've got them up here on the Sunshine Coast. I mean, technically they're all around. A guy shares a story about how he went to Sweden and jumped in on one. Like, man, amazing, right? But the integration groups is for kind of keeping it up, going to the gym, keeping the muscles strong, and having that connection into the community to share what's going on, like when you need it, if you need it, or however it suits. For me, I started going to I groups before I did the New Warrior training, so I started going to I groups 3 years ago, and I've gone pretty much weekly since. And now it's at the point where I help facilitate and run one of the ones down in Brisbane. And the reason I mention that is it's another part of MKP, and to answer the question around what I've seen is the I groups are an amazing way for guys to get their to dip the toes in, get a feel for what it could be, because the New Warrior training is like that on steroids times whatever it is and all that sort of stuff, right? So the I group is an opportunity to get into it, and the benefit out of that is I've seen so many guys come into an I group and then go and do the training, and there's definitely a sense of pride's there, but less about me, more about like honor. Like it feels really fucking cool to be part of something that can help people, and the power in it is that, like, on those weekends and at the I groups, like, in a way, no one's telling anyone how to be. Like the weekend's not like, this is what a man is, this is how you have to show up. There's some core concepts and values that are discussed and shared, but ultimately, like, that weekend in I groups is an opportunity for every man to work out who the fuck they are, how they want to show up, and within that community and that container, we have the ability to support each other, help each other keep themselves accountable, and all sorts of stuff like that, right? So I think about it more around like honor and gratitude to be part of the community and part of the spirit of that happening, and less about it being like, oh, that's something I did. It's more about something I'm a part of, and having that space for guys to develop and find out for themselves, or whatever it is.
Whoa, that's pretty amazing. Since there's the one in Brisbane, do you guys get the opportunity to check out the other ones, like regroup somewhere every once a month or so?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things behind the scenes and stuff like that. I try and there's one down in Nerang, so I go down to Nerang every once in a while. There's a new one out at Logan Village. One of my brothers, I say brothers because it's community. One of my mates from MKP who was down here in Brisbane, he's moved up to Townsville, and they're starting one up in Townsville.
Wow.
There's some guys in Cairns, but that's just part of the Queensland one, right? So, yeah, there's no territory thing, any of that. It's purely like, these things are there. Anyone can go to any of them at any time, kind of thing. And like, men are welcome. There is a couple that they call closed ones, which are only for guys that have done the training. But majority, like, and you can, like, on the website it tells you which ones, but ultimately there's tons that are open for men to come and check out and be part of. And yeah, there's no restrictions or anything like that. So I like to go to different I groups because get to sit with different people, guys I've done trainings with, people I don't know, and
get to learn more again. I
yeah,
suppose.
get to learn more. Like it's almost like sitting in a different role or a different energy, or just being in a different environment shakes different things up, and different people provide different things. So, you know, there's a structure to it, but they have a kind of a saying that no circle's ever the same because it's different night, different people, all sorts of stuff.
Cool. The other thing is that what do you think the most common challenges for blokes that either think about coming or wanting to come but fall short somewhere along the way?
Or like barriers to come.
Yeah.
It's tricky. Like I'd make assumptions, and there's a book I recently read that I'll tell you about. It's like, don't make assumptions.
Okay.
But yeah, to throw an opinion in it, I would judge quite often that there's some sort of fear holding people back. Like if someone's looking for something like that, and then they find it, like they know it's something they need or they want. So then the barrier to going there is like, what have I got my into? What could I uncover? Am I going to uncover something I don't like? Is it going to be what I need? Like, there's all sorts of stories that I think people could tell themselves to talk themselves out of it. And there's a duality in going, well, what's the risk of not going, and what's the risk if I do go? So it's like understanding which path it's going to play out. And I think sometimes there has to be enough incentive for people. You know, sometimes the pain has to get high enough that they come. For me, there was just such a curiosity in what it could be, and it's tricky because from my experience, I might not be the normal one to find it. I think most guys will find it when there's some sort of catalyst in their life, relationship troubles or breakdowns, or losing jobs, and all sorts of stuff that could potentially dip them into a different state, and then they have to have a look for what support could be around. We have had people come because they're counselors and therapists had said like a support group would be good as well to keep things going. So it's definitely not a replacement. It's just an addition to that, right? Just another way to bring men together for the benefit of like lifting each other up, right? I think about it in terms of if we go back to that idea of like Western culture now being a little bit different to maybe our ancestors or traditions. Like we used to be more small communities and tribe focused, and it's hard to say because I didn't live it, right? But in my head I imagine that if something was going on in the community, everyone knew about it. The elders, whoever, they would get everyone together, they'd sort it out, they'd deal with it, they'd support each other, and there'd be that kind of vibe, right? And with the modernization and all the benefits we get, there's also this separation between that. So I think a lot of people on some level are searching for this connection into a tribe, into a collective, into a group of like-mindedness. And yeah, if people can get past whatever it is that blocks them, just dare to go. Courage, my understanding of the origin of courage comes from heart. So if they just get in touch with their heart, take the courage, take the step, reach out, make a phone call, come and check it out. Yeah, it's really powerful. And it's really powerful for me to see new guys come, because stepping through the door, for a lot of men that I've spoken to, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. They say it was one of the hardest things they ever did in their life, you know. And I thought it was going to be a bunch of guys sitting around crying and, you know, trying to, you know, do affirmations like I love myself. Don't get me wrong. There's elements and benefits to some of that, but that's not what the basis of it is. There's a lot more of just sitting in this powerful energy of men giving a fuck about each other.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful. And say for a beginner, someone that wants to rock up,
Yep.
you know, what can they expect to walk into for the first time, you know, attending a MKP?
The jokester in me wants to say all sorts of funny shit. But okay, what can someone expect the first night?
Yeah, in case there's someone out there that's
Yeah.
listening, you know, maybe it'll be enough for them to like, oh, maybe I should take that first step. And
Yeah.
hey guys, thanks again for tuning back in. And if you're finding value in today's show, then please subscribe, like, and share with someone you know who could possibly benefit from what you get to see today. So, without further ado, let's get back to it.
What's the first night like? We get together. We generally will do like a quick chat about any kind of logistics within the group and the community that's going on. We'll do some sort of, and it's tricky because some of it has that woo-woo sense, and I worry that scares some people away, but it'll attract some people. And as I've got into it, it's really not that woo-woo. I used to think meditating was woo-woo, and now I'm seeing such benefit in just taking a few minutes to just fucking focus. There's generally some sort of grounding thing we'll do just to allow people to like exactly that, right? To center themselves, ground themselves, let go of what's going on, so we can enter into what we're going to do that night with a bit more calm and clarity and whatnot. There's an opportunity for men to, like I said before, just to share what's going on for them, to get in touch with, and this is where the feelings part comes in, and I grimace a little bit because this feels cliche, but it's so powerful to be able to say, I'm fucking angry, or I'm sad, or holy shit, I've had such a great day, I feel joy. And getting in touch with that from a sense of not just saying, oh yeah, I had a good week, I did this and this. It's like, what's actually going on for me? So there's an opportunity for men and I talk about myself, like when I go there, there's a chance for me to really check in and go, where am I at? What's going on? Having the space and safety to share it in a group of men, it could be 4 to 20, like it varies. Having that space to just share what's going on, and at the end, people will just say something like "thank you" or "welcome." No one's like, "Oh, have you tried this thing?" or "Oh, that's cool to hear." It's just like, "Thanks for showing up. Thanks for bringing what you're bringing."
Is
That's
there also an opportunity for like someone that may be a bit too shy to open up if they attended to like just at least sit in and listen?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So there's the ability to soak it up, see what it is about, but it's very much like everyone's in it, and it's so hard to explain that there's such a big part of it is to build safety in this circle, this container, this group of men, that people can feel more comfortable opening up, being vulnerable. There's such an emphasis on that and things that shape into that. If someone just wants to say, first night, fucking scared to be here, I'm in. I've seen that many times, and that's massively welcome. Because even just saying that is probably like 10 steps above what someone was going to do, right? So
Wow.
there's power in voicing that and opening that up. So yeah, there's a big range of it, man. Moving further into night, there's an opportunity for people to have a look at how they're showing up in the world, what agreements they make, take accountability for that and be supported in that, to get some insight into, like, if I didn't keep an agreement, what's the impact on me for that? What's the impact on other people? And what's at play? What part of me, what limiting belief, what is it within me that says don't keep that agreement, right? And there's a lot of power in getting the awareness and then making agreements outside of that. Oh man, the agreements switch massively between what people do, but the reason behind it is to get some clarity on what might be tripping me up, so that going forward I can be like, nah, I know about you, come with me, I'm doing this thing anyway. So there's a lot of power in that. As the night continues, that helps build more safety, and then we get to a point where men can go a little bit deeper if something's really alive for them, or if they want to get curious about why something keeps coming up in life, or why they're getting a block on this or that. Like, it gives space, and we've built up to that in a way that men can really, if they wish, right, go deeper on something and get a more profound understanding of what's going on. And for me, it's been a really powerful place to take stuff. And if I take it back to the idea with Haley, right, I used to look at her as like my partner, my best friend, my therapist, like all these things, right? And that's too much for one person. So part of the benefit that we have now is that if something's going on for me, I've got this place I can take it, I can unpack it, I can process it, I can be vulnerable with men and be. There's so much power in being vulnerable with men and being supported and being validated in the fact that, like, fuck, man.
I hear you.
Yeah, I hear you. I see you. Like, what you shared is powerful. And this guy over here goes, fuck, man, that was powerful for me. I'm going through the same thing. And you've just helped me understand part of myself and whatnot, right? The ability to go there and do that and then come back to Haley and be like, man, I learned this about myself, and be able to talk to her about what's going on and what that was is huge. So, and then towards at the end, we kind of check out and we sort of share. It's more about gratitude on the way out. Like, did I get something tonight? Did I share, or can I? For me, I quite often check out. It's almost like a broken record, but just feeling super honored to be part of the power that is that experience.
Oh man, I don't think you can ever be a broken record when there's always
Yeah.
appreciation, gratitude involved, man. I think it's part of the growth, and maintaining that consistency with gratitude is, man, it's a huge thing. It's a huge thing that's part of my life. So I know, I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Yeah. When did that shift happen?
For me,
Yeah.
I think it was a kind of a similar thing that you went through, where you were reading the books and all that.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, the book I read was called The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, by T. Harv Eker. It was about the mindset shift. And for me, the moment that it clicked was when I remember I was driving to work one morning, early hours, 5 o'clock. And road rage sometimes kicks in when you get people, kind of. And this one guy almost sideswipes me, and I'm like, whoa, dude. And I just remember saying to myself, like, man, dude, watch it, man. You might hurt someone up the road. And then, Ty, what was that, man?
Yeah.
What was that? I was like, holy shit. Like, I was actually feeling compassion towards this bloke.
Yeah.
Who, even though he almost sideswiped me, but I was worried about him hurting other people up ahead. So, yeah, that was a moment for me that shifted. And then it was from then on, I just continued to implement what I was reading about and making sure I took action. It was only small, tiny steps, but it was enough to, like, just try and maintain that and then add on. Just keep adding on.
Oh fuck, that's massive, man. Like, yeah, I hear that in entrepreneurs and the mindset, right? Like, I remember reading some Tony Robbins books as well, and so much of it's like psychology and state and all that sort of stuff. But like, top achievers, anyone that's like up there, like they've got to have done a lot of work with their mind, right? And get it set. There's I'm not triggered. I'm so conditioned now through this thing with MKP that, and your example was great because we talk about like I statements, this idea of like taking ownership for what I say. And when you said the road rage thing, I use that as an example, like of demonstrating, like, when you're in traffic, you get cut off and you get pissed. I'm like, that might not be the case for everyone, right? So I learned, like, well, when I'm in traffic, I get cut off and I get pissed. And those little shifts have been really powerful for me in life, just taking more responsibility for all sorts of things. And it pisses people off. Like, every once in a while, Haley will say something like, you, and I'll be like, fucking who? I don't do that. She's like, fuck off. Yeah, like this idea of I statements and other tools I've learned through it. It's such a cool shift and power that comes with it. But it's awesome hearing about where you got that connection to gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Because it's anchored now in an emotional realm that you can tap into that any time, and just such a good reminder for bringing that forward.
Like, I kind of discovered myself first before I actually went to check out all these other men's groups. Like, when I went to Complete Men's, there was also Marcus Missions. Like, I attended a couple of these groups, but I'd done some of the work beforehand, and then I was curious enough to, like, just want to discover more about what are they actually going through, just to experience how bad it was for them, and like, oh shit, I hope, and to witness some of the breakdowns was like, holy shit, like, I was freaking out, but at the same time I was like, now I get it. I get it. They'll come into a safe space where they can be vulnerable, vent,
Yeah.
share their thoughts of what they've been thinking throughout the week and stuff like that. And yeah, it was an eye opener, which also was something that I felt like for me to discover it.
Yeah.
I think, hey man, Tar, we gotta produce a podcast show, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if these guys don't want to get out to do the work, let's get into their bedrooms and on the couch,
Yeah.
on the bus and the train,
Yeah.
wherever it may be, man. They've got a mobile device. Let's
Yeah.
reach them that way, and and that's why I'm here, just to get stories like yours to relate to people who can go, man, no, it's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm going through.
Yeah. Oh man, it's epic. I've got so many things I could talk about, and I could easily talk for days about this sort of stuff. It's really interesting what you said there about connecting with men that might not be looking. I remember we mentioned just before, like I didn't even know something like MKP existed, and then I found it. I'm like, fuck, more people need to know that this exists. And then through that, I've found like what you're doing, right? Found all these other things that exist. I'm like, holy shit! So it's awesome that you're doing the podcast, stuff like that. This idea of MKP, and not just MKP. I got goosebumps saying this. Not just MKP. All of these, I can't speak for them, but my opinion of all of these organizations and all these groups and all these people, that in my terms and how I do it is like they give a fuck about people, right? But the benefit of that I picked up out of what you're saying is like, what if it's okay not to do it alone? You know what I mean? What I have noticed in a lot of men that I've met is this idea of like, I should be able to do it. I should be able to do it myself. Or like, fuck, I couldn't do it myself. And there's such a beautiful connection that has come when I've seen myself included and other men just go, fuck, I don't have this. I need someone to help. I need someone to support. I need something, right? This idea that I think at times we've been drilled in that we should provide, serve, have everything sorted and be everything. It's just not possible. There's going to be times where it's just not possible. And back to that idea of a tribe, right? We'd have people to lean on. Fucking whatever it is, find people you can lean on. Be okay to say, be okay to say, fuck, I think I need something. One of the reasons I really wanted to go up and do the new warrior training was this idea of having a mission, right? Like getting a bit more in touch with like my purpose, my mission. And I thought it was going to be more direct, more granular, and I came out with something that was a bit more
Than you expected?
broad, yeah, and in such a beautiful way that like I can use it as a guiding light. And this idea of mission, I think, is really important. And I see and talk to other guys that come into this, and they at times feel lost or don't know what's going on, and yeah, sharing this idea of like having a mission, knowing what it is. And for me, my mission came out of that idea of like this love and acceptance, right? So part of me is like, do I sound like a fucking dickhead if it's just sharing my mission? But ultimately, it's really powerful for me. So my mission that I discovered was I craft an uplifted world of connection and acceptance by leading with love, truth, and curiosity, right? So the power in that for me is that I've got some values in there, vision, and all sorts of stuff. But it helps me understand that's me at my best. That's how I want to show up, and that helps guide me in what I can do. And that's not me every fucking day, but that's who I want to be and how I want to be. So having that guiding light, having that mission, really helps put me on or keep me on the path I want to be on, right? Yeah. So that's probably the only thing I haven't shared that came to mind.
That's cool. I think we're probably gonna have to wrap up.
Yeah, they're
Got the
getting
crew rocking up.
extra crew. It's going to get crazy.
So before we wrap up, how can they get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, I mean, if you're specifically interested in Mankind Project, mkpqld.org.au is the website for MKP Queensland. Go to the website. I don't know how it works, if you throw a link in or something like that, I don't know if you've got one yet, but you should have a website that has a link to everything or something like that. I don't know, a landing page or whatever it is.
Oh,
that
just
has
my
a link.
YouTube channel, man.
YouTube channel's
Yeah.
got a link to everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
But
cool.
mkpqld.org.au is where MKP Queensland's at.
Yeah, cool. Oh, well, Cole, mate, thanks for joining me at the round table. It's been an honor. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Cool. But before we go, I'm going to have to get you to
Sure.
sign your signature on the round table.
Sure.